freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 484 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearmsauctions.com, where you set the price on guns, ammo, and accessories. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is unique solutions to unique problems, and our guest is Daniel Corbett. Daniel has served as an elite Navy SEAL operator as part of SEAL Teams 5, 6, and 17. He's now an entrepreneur and the author of American Mercenary. Wow.
There you go. Welcome to the show, Daniel Corbett.
Thanks for having me. It's been a long time in the works, but we made it happen.
We made it happen. Your schedule, our schedule. It is craziness, but all for good reasons, right? I like to say I am blessed with work, right?
Yeah, busy, good busy, not bad busy, good busy.
Exactly. So I liked your book so well that I audio booked it because I'm busy, right? I can listen to it. And then if I really like a book, then I have to hold it in my hands. So I bought it. I was your customer twice. You know what? It was actually your customer 3 times because my new puppies.
They loved your book, by the way.
Yeah, they thought it was delicious.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
literally. Okay.
Literally ate my homework. So I bought your book 3 times.
So I have to do this. You have here that people need to read your book to get the whole story, but in a nutshell, how did a nice mercenary like you end up in a prison in Serbia?
Well, I mean, it's probably a culmination of things, right? I think like when any big operation goes bad, it's never just one thing. It's usually at least 3 things. In my case, I was on a job in Serbia and I might have pushed the envelope a little bit too far, as well as some really circumstantial dumb luck is pretty much how that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, dumb luck in a bad way,
So I guess
right?
I have to read
Yeah.
the book to know
Dumb
why.
unluck. Yeah.
Dumb
Yeah,
unluck. And it really is an interesting story, and you're so kind of conversational in it. I mean, in the audiobook, it is your voice talking to me and telling me your story. But I mean, it really is interesting to just follow along because it's just really unfolding slowly before us, and I'm really on the edge of my seat. Like, okay, so what really happens? I mean, I met you in real life, so clearly you didn't end up like dying in this horrible
I'm not
place.
still there, right? Yeah.
But as I'm reading it, I felt like, man, this at any second this could go so in the wrong direction. So I encourage everybody to definitely get this book and dive in. And you also have been picked up. This story has been picked up by a company that wants to film it and produce it. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it was just so wild. I'm just learning the book business and how the advance work and how it gets paid out and what my percentage is per X, Y, and Z. And as soon as I navigated that, I got approached by a big studio. They want to do a TV series, like a streaming series. And I said, what? So, I'm a dreamer, but I'm also like a little bit of a realist. So I'm like, okay, we'll see, right? Because it's so foreign and new. And yeah, we've been moving forward and taking the, steps to progress towards that being a reality. So
That is amazing.
Yeah, I'm figuring out what it entails for me to be an executive producer on my own show. So I went from learning what it means to be an author to now trying to learn the like the film and show side. So it's been a lot, but I mean, I'm not complaining. It's very cool and fun. The only time I feel kind of bad is when someone will reach out to me like, "Hey, how do you get a book published?" I'm like, someone reached out and asked me if I wanted to write a book. So I didn't I didn't have to like scrap and fight to get my name in there. And they go, "Oh, how did you get this potential show?" I said, big company reached out and asked me if I wanted to do a show. So, I do understand how blessed I am, how lucky I am. But at the same time, I feel bad when people ask me like, "Oh, how'd you make it to X, Y, and Z?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they just called me and they're like, "Oh, must be nice." I'm like, "It is, but so sorry, I can't give you more."
Yeah. So Daniel, so you're an author. You're going to be a producer. Have you thought about being an actor in the movie, or they asked you that?
I think there might be an opportunity. I've seen, and I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm not going to say any names. I've seen people act, kind of they were thrown a bone, because they knew someone, whatever, and I just go, "Oh man, that was so good." And I told my team, my showrunner I'm working with, I said, "Look, I'll read for it, but if I'm not good, don't put me in
Yes.
just to put me in. I
Yes.
don't want to ruin the product to like stroke like some ego of mine that I really don't have to act." So
Yes.
I said, "I'll give it a shot. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, you can tell me it's not, and we'll get someone in there who knows what they're doing."
But
I think
to
that's
go to
why.
jail or not to go to jail?
Yes.
That is the question.
exactly. I mean, that's good. That's good right there. Thank you.
No.
No.
Do not encourage this
No,
man. No,
that's awesome. No,
fantastic. So we met at an event that's put on by a group called America's Mighty Warriors. And I had so much respect for this organization, but I had not learned about, I'd just heard about it before, as this event was coming up. And so I got to meet you. I got to meet some great people there. Congressman Eli Crane was there. So I think it's really rooted in Navy SEALs, but maybe not just Navy SEALs, but people who have served, and it helps support them. And you can embellish on this as much as you'd like. But the thing that was so cool to me is that you showed up with one of your books and you signed it. Which, by the way, we both live in Arizona. I need to get
All right.
mine signed.
We'll make it happen.
and we put it on the top shelf this time.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And you were going to give it to the lady that puts this event on, and she says, "You know what? Let's go ahead and put it in the live auction for the night." And this book with your signature on it and you standing there in the room, I think helped inspire the super exciting and generous bidding. But do you remember how much that brought?
No, I think it did. I remember I was happy. I don't remember the exact number.
I think it was $2,500.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
That this person donated to support the organization, but I think also, it was really to appreciate you for making the donation and bringing all that you brought to the organization. So America's Mighty Warriors, I would encourage people to check that out. They're doing incredible work to help reestablish warriors in normal life. Is that a good way to put that?
Yeah, and I think they're doing some treatment stuff too to help guys that have maybe some like neurological damage. I mean, I'm really spitballing here. I don't know that much about it. I just know it's a good cause, and I got a phone call to show up, and I said, "I'll be there."
I
Awesome.
love it. And you did, and it was to their benefit. And then we got to meet each other, which was
Yeah.
extra bonus. So, you, as Danny mentioned, you wear a lot of hats. And I'm curious about the reason that you called yourself and the book, The American Mercenary, because I think most people would know that name as Contractor, right? That title as a contract. It just sounds so, nobody really knows what I'm doing. They're not really, but but you chose very purposefully to go with mercenary. Can you talk to us about the decision
Yeah,
making process there?
I think that the two big things there was I think I started off as a contractor when I was doing some more benign, very static defensive things. And then when I found myself being more dynamic and offensive, I think that was the delineation, at least to me, between being a contractor and you're on a contracted gig to, check vehicles or whatever, or escort cargo ships, which I've done, versus planning missions in doing operations. Uh, that that was the difference for me
Mm-hmm.
between contractor and mercenary. I'm sure they're very interchangeable, but at the same time, it would be hard for me to take someone serious if they were contracted to check vehicles as they entered a gate and they called themselves a mercenary. I'd be like,
Mm.
I'd say it's a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But by definition, it's, someone who doesn't fight under flag or, a certain country. It's mostly for money. And I want to address it now that people think there's a really negative stigma that you will just do anything for money because you're a mercenary
Mm.
with no
Mm.
ties. I said, you could be like that, but at the same time, when I'm in the military, you really can't say no. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think those guys just might be farmers that happen to have AK-47s from way back when. You're still
Mm-hmm.
going to go do your job.
Mm-hmm.
As a private guy or a mercenary, you can be like, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not doing it. And that's it. That's the end of discussion. You don't have to do it. So it's actually the opposite of like the morally gray area. You can
Mm.
choose when you want to or not want to. And then when you're in the military, you don't really have a choice.
Mm. Wow,
Yeah.
that's an interesting distinction. I hadn't thought about that at all. And I liked in the book how, you tell us, so often these kinds of stories, I feel like it's all just going to be full bravado and every
Yeah.
time the hero wins and, everything is planned down to the most minutia of minutia. And you share with us times when things just kind of went not at all the way that was planned and expected. And I found that very appealing and very real and kept me wanting to read rather than just like, oh, yeah, he's so brave. Oh, he's so strong. Oh.
Yeah. I think a lot of people has reached that point. I think we remember great movies. Sean Connery as James Bond, he would do the chop, the guy would fall, he'd buy the girl the drink, she'd fall in love with him and do the mission. And it was kind of like really cool, but then it was almost predictable. And
Mm,
then they introduced like Daniel Craig's character much later on where like he messes up, he gets beat up, he loses his phone or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's more relatable.
mm-hmm,
And I didn't try to make my stories real, so I didn't try to like fudge anything to be more relatable. But I also wrote it with no ego and just wanted to be totally honest and show that I'm a person, I'm a human that has other
mm-hmm.
interests, and you know, 99% of the time, like nothing goes according to plan, no matter how much you plan it. And I just wanted to show that versus this, I'm so tough, I'm so cool, I did this, I did that, I did this. And it's that's definitely not what it's about. So I'm very happy you picked up on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, being somebody that takes training for self-defense, that sort of thing, I've never been drawn to one of these where you're like diving off across the hood of a car and, doing a lot of this really, really dramatic stuff, but they have courses like that out there. And I think that,
But she had been married 40 years. So that
yeah,
counts.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that's a
definitely.
practical, that's probably better training than anything.
I'm just saying one of us needs an award. I don't know which one of us it is, but
We'll share it.
uh but so I think that seeing somebody that is trained at the level that you're trained and is working with other people who have high level skills and training, that things don't always go according to plan. I think that that is um, honestly, I think it's good for those of us laymen to hear that as much as you train, you probably still need some more training, but it might not be the James Bond course necessarily that you need. It's maybe more of just the practical skills that you need for your everyday life in your everyday world. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean that's two part, right? You're never done training. You can always be better. And the second part is, you see all these fancy courses and people doing things that seem very like cool and sexy. And people will ask me because I do teach rifle and pistol out here. And they'll say, no, no, what's the secret like SEAL Team 6 way of shooting? I'm like, buddy, there is no secret. It's the same exact thing that we covered today, just over and over and over again until you're not even thinking about it. And like, really, there's no like secret stance or grip.
I
And
love
that's
that.
and I think it bums people out when they realize there's no secret, there's no pill you can buy, there's no super expensive course you can pay for. It's
Mm,
the daily routine with anything, right? Getting in
mm-hmm.
shape, creating a business, getting good at a certain skill. No, very few people want to hear that it's just wake up, do it every single day, do it right, and never stop. It's like,
That's too much
oh,
work.
that's too much work. I'd rather pay $100,000 and go to the secret shooting course. I'm like,
Yeah,
cool, me too. That doesn't exist, right?
right.
Doesn't exist. Yeah. What's the secret SEAL team trick to staying married 40 years? We don't know.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
And if there was a course, you still wouldn't qualify because it's that day to day, every
Yeah.
day.
hmm
So,
Well, and on a similar vein, this next question, throughout your book, you really do talk a lot about your connection and your dedication to your parents. And most especially, I just feel how connected you are to your mom. And of course, as a mom, that endears me greatly to you. But the dangerous and secretive work that you do as a mercenary, you can't always tell anybody where you are, what you're doing,
Mhm.
it must be hard on a family waiting at home. So, how have they handled those aspects of your work and your life?
I mean, I think they've handled it great. My mom, I mean, it was very much the same when I was active duty military too. So I think there
Mhm.
was a lot of, she got to ease into it, right? I left for boot camp and then I'd come visit home and then I, would go through buds and come visit home. And then like, hey, I'm in a platoon now, deployment, maybe come home for Thanksgiving or Christmas, maybe not either of them. So I think there was room to get used to it.
Mhm.
And then, she's super strong and independent. My mom is, and she was like, okay, like go be happy and check in when you can. And I do check in when I can. So she knows if I'm not calling her, I'm busy or I can't
Mhm.
talk to her. So
Mhm.
to me, she handled like a rock star. If there's like
Mhm.
if she was struggling behind the scenes, she has not let me know, but I think she's handled it great, really.
That's phenomenal. As a mom, I can't imagine. I'd have to line my stomach with cast iron or something because I would be a nervous wreck all the time that you were out of communication.
I mean, I had some communication, like when I was in Serbia, I had an embassy worker there, and to come to find out, he was telling my mom that I was pretty much staying at a government-ran hotel, and it wasn't that bad, and he's doing just fine. So like, I was mad at him for lying, but now looking back, I'm like, oh, that probably helped things out a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not what I read in your book.
No, and then that was not true at all.
Your bio mentions that you have become an entrepreneur, lots more hats that you're wearing. So I did steal the title of this show from your bio, Unique Solutions to Unique Problems. I feel like that should be the name of a business somewhere. But what other ventures are you engaged in besides unique solutions to unique problems?
Well, I have my production company that I had to stand up. I have my shooting company. I do some coaching, I do public speaking, and my biggest passion project that I've been working on for over 12 years now is an app, which I think we're getting close to possibly releasing before middle or before Q4 this year. So, been working on this app for a very long time. So now I'm trying to learn tech stuff also.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be completely over my head. But what are you free to share what the app?
Yeah, I could just give a really quick broad stroke. It's pretty much just a social gaming app where you and your three friends take turns compiling a really fun, cool story together.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that born, well, no, 12 years ago? Was that born out of writing the book or was that predated the
No,
book?
way predated the book.
So you are a storyteller at heart.
Yeah, I mean, I found myself playing chess on my phone and being completely frustrated because chess could be a cruel mistress, right? Because it's like I'm either like there was either smoke coming out of my ears because I was thinking so hard, or I'd be watching like the most mind-numbing, stupid videos. I'm like,
Mm,
there's got to be something in the middle where it can
mm,
be fun, but I'm also being creative and you know, doing something moderately useful. So
mm-hmm.
that's how it came up, and I teamed up with a programmer, and we've been going at it ever since. Obviously, we've had to pick it up and put it down over the last decade plus, but I think we're on the final stretch.
That is exciting. Well, we'll have to have you report back when
I
that
will,
comes together.
100% I will. Yeah.
I love it. Open invitation for that. And so when you said you played chess, you also talked about Candy Crush, which I have never played, but I'm like picturing these hardcore, chiseled SEAL team guys sitting around playing Candy Crush. And I have to say, it made me giggle a little.
When you are bored in the middle of nowhere, you'll play hopscotch to pass the time. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah.
True. Well, and on that vein, like I don't think I've identified it yet on the air here, but your nickname, which you don't really explain in your book, I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
your nickname is Dirty.
Yeah.
And I love in your audiobook how you're one of the gentlemen who keeps talking to you in all these conversations. He has an accent and he calls you dirty.
Yeah. The French accent. Dirty.
Very French,
Yeah.
dirty.
Yeah.
But you just have this, for a guy whose nickname is Dirty, you have this humble way of endearing yourself to us and letting us know who you are. The story about going and finding a Kinder egg in Germany, I was like, I just love this guy, right? Like Mr. SEAL Team 6 has got to go find himself a Kinder egg,
Got to.
which I will let you tell my audience what a Kinder egg is, but we've been to Germany and I get it.
So I lived in Germany as a kid for a couple of years. My dad was in the army, and there was this Kinder egg. I think it's like marzipan and chocolate, and it's an egg wrapped in foil, and it's hollow, and you open it, and there's a little toy in a capsule, and you pop it open, but it's in pieces, and there's like little IKEA instructions, and you put it together. It's like the coolest thing. In the States, you can't find them. You can find fake ones wrapped in a plastic case, and they don't have the little pieces because of like choking hazards and rules here. So
Stop
every
it.
time I'm in Germany, I make sure I get a real Kinder egg and tap into some nostalgic memories of me being in Germany and undoing the foil and seeing what thing I'm going to put together next to add to my collection. So yeah, that's what a Kinder egg is. And the nickname Dirty the nickname Dirty came from me, punching above my weight class, trying to be flirty with somebody. Like that's it. It was more of like watching me fell on my face. But yeah, that's pretty much where it came from. But it just stuck, and no one gets to pick their own nickname. It just kind of gets given to you. So you're like, all right, that's what it is now.
I'm
Uh,
rolling with it.
well,
No,
I'm glad you like those parts in the book.
I do because they're so relatable. And like I said, it took me back to when we were in Germany. And I think, the American version, the closest thing might be Cracker Jacks.
No, we have Kinder, but it's not like you said. It's not like that.
It's so,
It's
come on.
It's different.
We
It's not
drink
the
out
same.
of the hose. We do.
Yeah.
We
I
go
won't
down the
choke on
metal
the
slide.
yeah, like just give me
and
the
if you
real
do,
thing.
it'll just toughen you up,
It's
right?
Yeah,
You know?
That's what I'm saying.
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
Well,
who hasn't put a screwdriver in an outlet once?
I mean, you
that's
have to just to see if it's really
Yeah,
true what mom and dad
you-
say. Like, really? And you're like,
right.
oh, okay, yep, I'll
Yeah.
listen to you guys.
I mean,
Yeah.
that one was accurate. Who knew,
Yeah.
right? Oh my gosh. Well, how did you decide, things like the Kinder Egg and, your workout clothes or Lululemon, right? Am I saying that?
Lululemon.
Lululemon,
Yeah.
playing Candy Crush, these kinds of things. Like, trying to think about if I was going to write about my life story, part of me feels like, gosh, do I want to give up that much of myself to just random
Mhm.
people? And B, what are the pieces that are interesting and not interesting? And what is your favorite story about, how to decide what to leave in or out? Was there something you really would like, I should have put that in there?
I was from the camp of I'm gonna just do everything and then pare down from there. I worked with a really good editor also. He was like, "Yeah, looks good. Go for it. Do whatever you want." And I really wanted to showcase the human side of we have all these other guys, and like, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of these other SEALs that have big followings and have big names. They're really like that. They are legit. They're waking up early, they're running 1,000,000 miles, they're doing 100 million burpees. They are real, and they're actually not putting like extra hot sauce on it. That's who they really are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to portray like a caricaturized version of myself to fit some sort of mold to get more traction in social media or anything. I didn't care enough about followers or anything. So I was like, I'm just going to be authentically me so that when and if things do take off, I'm not painted into this corner and this like really highlighted aspect of one part of who I am, which is like super tough and won't quit and da 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 da. Okay, yeah, we know that's who you are. You made it through buds. That's like an inherent trait to have, but like, who are you? And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to hold back and I'm not going to just portray like the cool side of me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to portray all of it. And I think that is more relatable to more people than, you know, I'm super tough and I run 1,000,000 miles and I could shoot, the wings off a fly. It's like, that's really cool. I admire you, but I can't relate to you, bud. I work
Mm-hmm.
at Starbucks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but if
Mm-hmm.
I talk about the little joys I have with little treats and the little games on my phone and just be totally honest with no ego, I think one, I think people would appreciate it. And I think two, it's more relatable.
Well, it really was for me. I can definitely just speak for myself and encourage others to check it out for themselves. But one of the passages you were looking for, and I was trying to flip through the book quickly to remind myself the name of the tequila, but you were describing drinking this specific kind of tequila and just kind of like the smell of it evoking different places, and it made me actually have to order that brand the next time I was out to dinner. And I think it
Yeah.
was it Herradura?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was that the one?
Yeah, like very simple, middle of the line, very just 100% pure agave. Just, yeah.
It was quite good. It was a good recommendation.
Yeah.
But it's neat when you can read a story and pull things like that away that, it's like, well, maybe I can't go to Germany right now and get a real live Kinder Egg, but I can try that and see, yeah, he's not
It's
lying.
cool.
He, re-
Yeah.
he really is for real. And you say you're still teaching courses? You're still teaching live fire courses here in Arizona
Yeah,
or everywhere else?
I mean, depends. I teach rifle, pistol, and long range, and I usually do one-on-one private clients. I'm being more selective with that because I've been getting more like multi-day contracts with people like Border Patrol and SWAT teams, both local and in other states. So yeah, I still teach. I really like it. I think when you become a master at something or like you've got it totally dialed in. When you're young, it's really cool for people to say, "Oh, you're so good at this." You're like, "Yeah, I am cool." But once you get a certain age, it's like, "Yeah, I've heard that. That's great. I don't even do this anymore. I'm not overseas. I'm not kicking down doors. Hmm. It doesn't matter if I'm good at it. It's a moot point because it's wasted." But then to go and hear a police chief or a platoon chief say, "Hey, man, the guys you put through training are so good. It's
Mm,
so awesome." And like to
mm-hmm,
me, as I've gotten older, like that feeling to me feels 10 times better than anybody saying how cool I am or how good I am back when I was a young man. So it's really cool to see the lights go on when you're trying to teach them this or going over grip and stance, and they go, oh, and then you can see the excitement, and then the rounds going from down left to center or whatever the problem was. And like that brings me happiness. So it's not fully altruistic because it does make me happy when people learn. But yeah, I teach.
That's fantastic. And I can say, through some of the courses that I've taken, I've had those times and those moments where, I mean, it changes the way that I even see my landscape, changes the way I get in and out of my car. It changes the way that I, observe my grandchildren in public places. I mean, it it is life-changing to have people like yourself bring your skills into our personal lives. So I'm excited about that. I may have to try to see if I can afford one of your classes while I'm getting my
Yeah.
autograph. So
I'll give you a friends and family discount.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, I think I've talked his ear off and didn't give you a second to even weigh in. Do you have any final questions, comments, concerns?
I'd like to shoot too.
Well, okay, I'll bring you with me.
Can I come? Yeah,
I know, seriously.
He never lets me out of the house.
I know. I'm starting to. I think I can believe you on that one.
Yeah, somebody's got to stay behind and work. I mean,
Yeah.
that's got to happen. Well, Daniel Corbett, thank you so much for serving our nation, for all that you have done and are still doing. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I'm excited to watch how your future unfolds, and I, I mean, if this becomes a series, like will it be Amazon? Will it be Netflix? Like, do you have any idea yet?
Once I'm allowed to announce which studio we're talking to, once they give me the green light to tell me who it is, and they'll be able to tell everyone else who it is.
All right, so we got to have you back when that happens. We got to have you
Okay.
back when the app happens.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm going to keep you on the speed dial.
Perfect.
I
I'll be
love
here.
it. Well, thank you so much again. We really appreciate you. Tell folks how they can continue to follow your work.
Yeah, I'm at American_Mercenary on Instagram, and then I have a landing page. I think it's Daniel David Corbett the third, which is III.com.
Fantastic. Thanks so much again. We will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Daniel Corbett. Awesome, awesome. My goodness. I seriously, wouldn't it be fun for us to go and take a course?
Yeah.
I mean, not this time of year because it's May 20th, 2025, and it's already spicy out there.
Yeah.
I should have asked him if he does indoor or outdoor because, man, when it starts
I like
getting,
the long range stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. That's a lot of fun because it's really hard.
I have never done any long range that I can think of. All of my stuff is self-defense related, close quarters for the most part. So that'd be fun.
I hit a target at a mile.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. That's right. You had a good spotter that day.
Yeah.
Was not me.
No. That's pretty good, though. It's
All
not
right. Well, thank you again to our amazing guest, Daniel Corbett. Thank you to all of our viewers and listeners all over the planet. I don't know in Serbia where poor Daniel was stuck in prison for a while, but wherever there's internet service, we have people who are hungry for the subject matter experts and the topics that they bring to our show. So thank you for spending your precious commodity, your time with us. If you want to go back and rewatch this one, to share this video, or look at all of the videos, watch all the videos we've ever posted up. This is what, 484? I mean, there's a few minutes worth of viewership, viewing time out there. Then go to YouTube, Gunstreamer, the Opslin smartphone app, any of those platforms. And when you get there, please click the subscribe and the notifications button because that tells those platforms that you value this information. It gives us a hedge against the cancel culture that is still out there, trying to silence things that clearly people want to hear. but maybe others just don't want us to share. So please do that. Also, if you want to listen to the audio only version, go to gunfreedomradio.com, click the on demand tab, and
Binge listen to your heart's content.
darling, join me,
Darling.
darling. And if you want to see the photos and bios and links to even the books that some of our guests have written, go to the guest tab, and there is a huge resource of subject matter experts on there that is growing all the time. When you spend your time there, we don't hate that. All right, we want to support the organizations that support us. So, right off the bat, I want to talk about, since we're talking about shooting when it's hot outside, right? LockedInGrip.com. Made, produced by friends of ours. American made right here, developed in America. LockedInGrip.com. It's a liquid shooting sports chalk for better, safer, faster shooting. Go to there right now and get some for yourself and your favorite shooting buddy. All right. The other company that I really am excited that we have just formed an alliance with is PatriotMobile.com. We are all walking around with these gadgets in our pockets, right? And you see me everywhere I go, I'm snapping a selfie here and there. What powers my calls, my texts, and my selfies? Well, for too long, it has been those other companies that are using my money against my values. Well, patriotmobile.com/GFR not only supports every right and every value that you support, but it also a small piece will come to help fuel the work that Dan and I do. All the travel, all the things that we do to be advocates for our Second Amendment. PatriotMobile.com.
And they will buy your contract out, and they will also let you keep your own number, which is super important.
Exactly.
We felt no difference in service at all.
And Dan, yeah, what about the towers? Am I going to be getting some Class B level service, or
It's the same. Everything's the same.
same? They use the same towers, the same signal strength. It's a no-brainer. PatriotMobile.com/GFR. And if you want to support American jobs on American soil with American-made products, then accept this invitation from Dan and I to join patriothousehold.com/GFR. And you can buy all the same stuff that you've been going to those big box stores, handing over your money to them, and they are supporting all the wrong things. They are actively working against your rights. Well, patriothousehold.com/GFR supports everything you value. And again, a small piece of that comes to help with the work that Dan and I do. You place your order online, you forget about it, it shows up on your doorstep. Could not be any easier or more convenient.
Cheryl, how many times you went to the steak or sent me to get a steak at the grocery store and the selection was very bad or just not
flavorless,
good flavor? Well, when you go to
patriothousehold.com/GFR,
you can tell who does all the shopping in your house. But anyway, we have never had a bad steak.
No, Riverbend Ranch is their brand, and it is the best hamburger and steaks and briskets you're ever going to taste. It really does. I love it. All right. And finally, those of us who do train for self-defense, and we are prepared with tools of self-defense of any kind, whether it's a gun or whatever it is you choose. If you are involved in a self-defense encounter, you will need an attorney on retainer. We use our family trust attorneys on retainer. And if you go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, scroll down the homepage, click on attorneys on retainer. When you join their membership, you will have so much peace of mind. And again, they financially support a small little portion of your membership, helps support the work we do. And they are just amazing people. You will be very happy and you will sleep better having an attorney on retainer. All right. Until next time, Dan, what are we going to do?
Pray for our nation.
Oh, musical this time. Pray for our leaders, maybe?
Sometimes.
What about the ones? When did we become a musical? What about the ones that you're a little bit frustrated with?
I'm going to stay frustrated with them.
No?
I'm going to pray for them.
Okay, maybe especially for them.
Yeah. Actually, be honest with you, we're filming today. What's the date today?
It is May 20th,
May 20th.
2025.
And we just heard the news about Biden, and I have been against everything Biden has done for many, many years. But I will tell you this publicly: he's a human being, and I am praying for his quick recovery.
Yes, we've just recently learned of his cancer diagnosis.
Yes.
So absolutely, prayers go out to the Biden family.
So I do pray
Thank you.
for those.
Thank you.
others.
See? I'm proud of you. All right, until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week, and God bless.
Bye-bye.